Today I'd like to discuss a problem that affects nearly every project, every AI initiative, every digital transformation effort, and every customer engagement. We often assume that people know what they need. We assume requirements exist. We assume our job is simply to gather them. But after decades in software, consulting, and enterprise transformation, I've come to a different conclusion. Most requirements do not exist when the conversation begins. What exists is ambiguity. People have fragments of understanding, symptoms, assumptions, constraints, concerns. The real challenge is discovering the intent hiding underneath all of that. That is what this training is about, getting to clarity of intent. The traditional view is simple. Customer has requirements. Analyst gathers requirements. Engineers build solution. That sounds logical. Unfortunately, it rarely reflects reality. In reality, both sides are working with incomplete mental models. The customer often knows something is wrong but cannot fully explain why. The analyst or FDE is trying to understand a system they did not design. Both parties are attempting to discover something neither fully understands yet. The problem is deeper than poor communication. Neither side fully understands the problem, the root cause, the constraints, the trade-offs, or even the desired outcome. And if those things aren't understood, the requirements can't possibly be complete. This is the key idea. Requirements are not sitting in someone's head waiting to be collected. They must be discovered. Discovery is an act of thinking. It is a process of making hidden knowledge visible. When teams recognize this shift, their role changes dramatically. Most requirement gathering programs focus on interviewing, note-taking, process mapping, and documentation. Those are useful skills, but they don't solve the deeper problem. Because documentation quality is limited by the quality of thinking. The FDE's real job is not collecting answers. The FDE's real job is helping another human think, helping them clarify, helping them articulate, helping them discover intent. I often describe this as intent discovery or clarity reconstruction. You are helping someone reconstruct understanding they don't yet fully possess. If that's true, then two skills become essential. First, asking better questions. Second, creating clarity in the customer. One helps us uncover information. The other helps customers uncover information within themselves. Together they create clarity. The first skill breaks into 5 components. Each addresses a common failure mode in discovery. We'll briefly walk through each one. Customers usually present symptoms like, train dispatching takes too long. That sounds like a problem, but it's actually an observation. Our job is to unpack it. What takes too long? Which step? Compared to what? How often? Specificity turns complaints into actionable understanding. Many requirements are actually assumptions disguised as solutions like, we need an AI assistant. Maybe, maybe not. What makes AI the right solution? What evidence supports that conclusion? The goal is not to challenge the customer. The goal is to challenge assumptions. Constraints define reality. Customers often ask for capabilities that exceed what they truly need, like, we need real-time updates. The moment you ask, what happens if updates are delayed by 30 seconds? You discover whether real-time is a requirement or simply a preference. Constraints create clarity. Most systems exist to help somebody make a decision. If you understand the decision, you understand the system. Who decides? What information do they need? What happens if they decide incorrectly? Now you're designing for outcomes rather than features. Instead of asking, what features do you want? Ask, What outcome are you trying to achieve? One question can eliminate months of wasted effort. The second skill is often overlooked. Customers are not passive information sources. They are active participants in discovery. We can help them think more clearly. We can help them see what they previously couldn't articulate. Simply repeat what you heard. This sounds basic. It isn't. People often hear their own words and immediately recognize inconsistencies or missing information. Reflection creates awareness. Customers often speak in abstractions. We need more visibility. Visibility of what, when, for whom, in which situation. Laddering down transforms concepts into reality. The opposite is equally important. Sometimes customers become trapped in tasks. We ask, why is that important? What objective does it support? Now we're connecting activity to intent. Counterfactuals are incredibly powerful. What happens if we solve this perfectly? What happens if we do nothing? These questions reveal priorities quickly. They expose hidden assumptions and hidden value. True clarity emerges when trade-offs appear. Would you rather optimize, speed, accuracy, cost, or compliance? You can't maximize everything simultaneously. The moment a customer chooses, intent becomes visible. These ideas become the foundation of our 6-module training program. Module 1 establishes why requirements fail. Module 2 develops critical thinking skills. Module 3 teaches how to ask the right questions, but in more depth than we just covered. Module 4 teaches intent reconstruction. Module 5 introduces AI-assisted discovery techniques. Module 6 shows how to communicate intent effectively to AI systems. Spoiler alert, it's more than a few prompt templates. Because the future belongs to organizations that can express intent clearly enough for both humans and AI to execute. This training ultimately leads to a repeatable process. Think clearly, ask clearly, and discover intent. Then structure, validate, and finally execute intent with AI. This is the progression from ambiguity to execution, and increasingly, it's the progression from human conversation to AI-powered outcomes. Every organization is investing in AI, but AI does not solve ambiguity. In fact, ambiguity becomes more expensive as AI becomes more capable. The organizations that win will not necessarily have the best AI. They will have the clearest intent. That's the mission of this training. And that's the mission of Intent Foundry. I'd love to discuss how we can help your teams get to clarity of intent. Thank you.